William Morrow and HarperAudio present The Diamond Smugglers, the true story of an international crime ring and its downfall, told by the creator of James Bond. By Ian Fleming. Read by Barnaby Edwards. Preface. The fishing and game-watching holiday in the St. Lucia estuary of Zululand was something I had been looking forward to for a very long time. I had just locked the front door of my house in Johannesburg and was getting into the car for the 450-mile drive to the coast when a grey-uniformed postman pedalled up with a telegram. I felt a strong temptation to leave the thing unopened, but luckily thought better of it and found it was from Ian Fleming. Fleming's cryptic message was to lead to one of the pleasantest episodes I have had in a varied career, and, what was more important, it involved no interference with my trip to Zululand. Fleming merely wished to know what time and where he could contact me by telephone within the next few days. I cabled back, St. Lucia Hotel, Zululand, any evening. And, hardly expecting to hear any more, off I drove with my fishing rods. I did, in fact, hear quite a lot more, and after a spate of telegrams between London, St. Lucia, and Tangier, my meeting with Fleming took place just as he describes. On arrival at the El Minza Hotel, Tangier, I was greeted by the porter with a note which I still have. Alas, I have been taught to keep even the most trivial notes. "Welcome. I'm in room 52. Would you give me a ring when you arrive and we'll have a drink? Good to have you here. Ian F." This seemed a promising beginning, and I was not to be disappointed. Fleming's company during the next 10 days or so was a stimulating experience. One of the things I liked about him was his informality. He was known to quite a few members of the British community in Tangier, and he automatically included me in the various luncheon and dinner parties they gave for him. This is where my cover came in, and now is my opportunity to offer an apology for my part in the deception practiced on a lot of charming people who were much too well-bred to ask awkward questions at the time. Polite formalities at the Minza soon gave way to down-to-earth discussion about the form and scope of this book. I made it plain from the start that although the decision to tell the story was taken entirely on my own authority, I wanted to be sure that the published version would be free from security and all other objections. Ian Fleming, as a former naval intelligence officer, entirely agreed, and, as things turned out, had to tone down a few of my rather critical opinions, and some interesting names and details had to be withheld altogether. It was my desire that the story would offend no one but the crooks, and that, I think, has been achieved. To some extent, Fleming was helped by the fact that I had brought with me a private diary of my own activities, which I had been compiling in idle moments over a long period, and it was these notes and my memories which he has most skillfully forged into a connected narrative. This bizarre meeting in Tangier had its origins in November 1953, when Sir Percy Sillitoe had retired as head of MI5. He told me, when he asked me to join him, how it had all come about. He was enjoying his leisure at Eastbourne when a letter arrived from Sir Reginald Leeper, the former British ambassador, and then, as now, chairman of the London Committee of De Beers Consolidated Mines. Sir Ernest Oppenheimer had asked him, as he put it, to see if Sir Percy would be interested in giving his advice and assistance on a matter which he hoped to have an opportunity of putting before Sir Percy. The matter turned out to be the enormous illicit traffic in diamonds, and Sir Ernest Oppenheimer's desire that Sir Percy should set up an organization to combat it. Who would not have been interested? Sir Percy at once flew out to Muizenberg, just outside Cape Town, where Sir Ernest was spending his summer holiday. Sir Percy was immensely struck by Sir Ernest Oppenheimer, by his charm and by his razor-sharp mind, and he couldn't understand why his biography had never been written, the story of the man who started in Kimberley in 1902 as the representative of a small diamond firm, and who, in less than 50 years, built up the largest combined
Sample complete. Ready to continue?